Now we're going to go to another dynamic duo. I have the honor of working alongside Whitney Demetrius, CHAPA's Director of Fair Housing Engagement. I learn from Whitney every day about what it means to truly have choice in where people live and the importance of fostering welcoming and inclusive communities. Whitney is a policy development leader in her own right, and here she is to present our Policy Leadership Award. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I am probably shared by many of you all, really inspired in this moment. It is my sincere honor and pleasure to introduce our next awardee, Robert L. Terrell, affectionately known as Bob. So I'll read a portion of his bio as I introduce him to some and present to others. He's a part-time lecturer in the Department of Urban and Environmental Policy and Planning. He's a member of the Roxbury Neighborhood Council, the Madison Park Development Corporation Board of Directors. At CHAPA, he's on our policy leadership team and is our co-chair of the Fair Housing Committee, in which I work closely with him. He works for also at Action for Equity Steering Committee, the Boston chapter of NAACP's Housing Committee, and the Assessment of Fair Housing Community Advisory Committee. Bob, he has many areas of research, as many are varied, but principal among them are housing, economic development, public transportation, sustainable development, economic democracy, gentrification and displacement, civil rights, and public policy. So most recent projects, of course, include an investigation of gentrification and displacement in Roxbury, Massachusetts, and the creation of the new article within the City of Boston zoning code to prevent gentrification and displacement within transit corridors, and participating in the creation of the new assessment of fair housing for the City of Boston. He received his master's in public policy from Tufts and his BA in government and sociology at Bowdoin College. Right, so I read through that bio, but so much of what he has done for the community and across the state is really not reflected here, right? And is a direct result of his character as truly humble in nature. Over the decade that I have had the pleasure to work with Bob closely, he often describes himself as just a humble servant, right? If you've ever met him, he often will say that saying, just a humble servant. He sees his life work as serving the community and doing his due diligence to end housing discrimination. He is a true captain in his leadership, a quality he's learned from his fisherman father, and a lifetime learner and student, a trait instilled in him by his mother. And as you can see from the many books surrounding him on screen, he is a lifetime learner. We have had the pleasure here, as I mentioned, for Bob to serve as co-chair to our Fair Housing Committee, and certainly on our Policy Leadership Council. If you've ever been in a meeting or a lecture with him, you know that you leave having learned something, having been sparked with some new idea, and often with some homework. So it is my pleasure to present to some and to introduce to others my mentor, my colleague and friend, Robert L. Terrell, with the Policy Leadership Award for leading the way in ending housing discrimination and ensuring people have meaningful choice in where they live. Thank you, Bob, for your work, and it is my pleasure to present this award to you.
Well, thank you very much, Whitney, very, very much. I was really surprised and humbled when CHAPA reached out to me to inform me that I was receiving this award. You know, when you receive an award such as this, it makes you really take a pause and think about the work that you're doing. And three things came to mind right away. First of all, to be very thankful to CHAPA, the board, the staff, all the folks that participated in putting this program together, and very much thankful. I've been blessed in the course of my career to work with some really outstanding and dynamic people. Some of them are on this call right at this moment. A shout out to my family. My mom and my sister are on the call. My mom and my sister are on the call. My friends and neighbors from the Roxbury Neighborhood Council, my colleagues from the Boston Housing Authority, folks from Madison Park CDC. It's really nice to have people that I've literally learned from and grown up with over the years. This award is not just mine, it belongs to all the people that I've worked with and learned from. I've had many teachers and mentors along the way that have to be acknowledged. But also, I think it's a time of very deep reflection. This award comes to me at a moment in our country's history, in our country's political history, where our democracy is being challenged in numerous ways. And I personally believe that the best way to defend the democracy is to look for every single opportunity we have to expand it. Whether that's civil rights, fair housing, work around discrimination and discriminatory practices, segregation. We have to take every one of those as opportunities to expand democracy, inclusion, diversity, and to make that a part of everything that we do. And I'm really proud to be a part of CHAPA's Fair Housing Committee. Thanks to Rachel and Whitney for recruiting me. And I would urge everybody that's on the call to consider being on our Fair Housing Committee. I mean, after all, as co-chair, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to recruit with so many wonderful people on the call. I came into the civil rights movement at the age of 17. And one of my mentors, Mr. Arnold Brown, one of my neighborhood mentors, said, if you want to be in this fight, if you want to last, if you want longevity, you want to stay with this work and be in this fight, there are two things you need to do. One, you need to study. You need to study early and often and all the time to keep up with all the information that you will need to carry out this fight. Secondly, he said, don't think this is going to be an overnight deal. You're going to be in this for a lifetime. He said, we struggle from the cradle to the grave. We struggle from one generation to the next. And we struggle under all conditions and at all times. And that's a very important message to convey, given what we confront in this country today. We have seen hard times before, but we were able to overcome it, and we will do so again. So with that in mind, I accept this very prestigious award from CHAPA. I know it will mean more hard work and more homework, but we're going to be willing to do it. And I accept that award, but being mindful of the awesome responsibility that comes with it. Thank you very much.
Bob, thank you. Thank you for it. It is so fun to work alongside you. And like Whitney said, we learn every time we participate in a meeting with you, every time you talk, every phone call you take, every time you go out to any community that we ask you to go to. We are just so appreciative. And thank you also for recruiting for the committee. You are a good co-chair.